if you are watching this, it means that you are interested in programming and more specifically in variables. So the definition of variable is the following. In computer programming, variables are used to store information to be referenced and manipulated in a computer program. They also provide a way of labeling data with a descriptive name so our program can be understood more clearly by the reader and ourselves. So it is helpful to think of variables as containers that hold information. Their sole purpose is to label and store data in memory. This data can then be used throughout your program. So the variables are different in math and programming, and let's look at an example as how variables are used in math. So let's look at this example. Here x is our variable. In order to solve this equation and find the value of x, we'll do the following. So here we'll have 5x equals to 10 and then x will equal to 2. This is pretty clear, but in programming variables are kind of different. So we've already said that variables are containers which hold data, and now we can name our variable. So let's say that this variable is named monthly salary in dollars. And here we are using monthly underscore salary underscore in underscore dollars because we can't use white spaces. And now we need to insert some data. So for example, if the monthly salary in dollars is 1,200, we'll insert the data like that, but it can change over time, so we can change the data to, let's say, 1,400. So this is how we'll refer to our variable. At the end, we'll say the name of the variable, which is monthly salary in dollars, and do whatever we want with it. But in programming, we need to be really aware of the fact that it's crucial to name our variable as understandable as possible, because the name of the variable will be something that we'll be referring to always when we use this variable in our program. So when we think about naming of the variable, we need to consider some steps and some rules that should be always followed. So the first rule is that we use only letters, digits, or underscores. The second rule is that we don't start with a digit. And this is important because your code won't work if you start your variable with a digit. The third rule is that uppercase doesn't equal to lowercase. And we'll come back to this one later. The fourth rule is that it cannot be a reserved word or a keyword. So it means that you have to think about your variable name to be as unique as possible, and of course, no white spaces. Whenever you feel like you need a space, you just use an underscore. So let's look at a few examples of variable names. We can have our variable name to be age, and it will equal, let's say, 15. This is data. Or we can have our variable name to be salary underscore of underscore John. That can be 65. So here are some more examples. Let's say that we named our variable to be major, and another variable we named minor. And now when we need to use these variables or the data, we are referring to it as major. The code doesn't work. Can you understand why? If you were attentive enough when I was explaining the rules, you will see that major is uppercase and here we have a lowercase m. So the code doesn't recognize this major to be a major like this, and it thinks that we don't have any variables which have this as their name. So it's important to note that whenever we are naming our variable, to be as explicit as possible.